we are bringing, congregations of all faiths together. We're bringing people of all walks of life together. And we're bringing actually the homeless families in our community together.
I actually did start going back to work. So my daughter ended up going to daycare at 8 weeks. And then the pandemic hit. Yep. And then it got worse. Bless. Does that make me get emotional?
These are normal people. These are people that have been successful, that have had ambitions and dreams and taken risks and done amazing things in their lives, but circumstances happen.
It breaks your heart to see it, but I think it has to break a little bit to make a difference.
There's nothing that screams community like Family Promise.
If it wasn't for Family Promise, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to, have somewhere to sleep.
You celebrate when they celebrate, you hurt when they hurt, and it's really being part of this journey that's really shifting the way you think about everything in life.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Jones. Welcome to Meals with Meaning, benefiting Family Promise of North Fulton and DeKalb. This year we've banded together to put on a wonderful virtual event that, although at a distance, will knit together our shared passion for all the great things that Family Promise does, day in and day out. We want to start with a sincere thank you to our donors, volunteers, coordinators, supporters, and families locally and around the country who are joining us. I'd like to acknowledge some of our event sponsors who generously support our mission. Gracious host sponsors Bob Bailey, Sarah and Rob Caverhill, George and Stormy Orland. Soiree sponsors Neighborhood Restaurants, and the remaining sponsors who make an impact with their support. We have some fantastic auction items that will be closing later in the program, so don't miss out on a week-long trip to sunny Cabo San Lucas or the beautiful mountains of North Carolina, as well as some additional exciting opportunities and items. And for our wine drinkers out there, spend $20 to purchase a bottle or two of wine for the opportunity to receive a vintage bottle from our awesome selection to be picked up at the Family Promise offices after the event. Hurry up, because these will go quickly. We will also hear from a few of our families as they share what this past year has been like for them and the hope and promise of what the future holds. To hear more about this, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Andrea Brantley.
Welcome to the third annual Family Promise Meals with Meaning fundraiser. We know that our event looks a little different this year. However, we are so excited to be able to share the mission of Family Promise with even more of our community members. We know for many of you, this is your first Meals with Meaning event, so welcome. Thanks for joining us. Meals with Meaning began as a way to bring this community together. It began with passing a platter, with fellowship among neighbors, with Family Promise families bravely sharing their stories. While we may not be physically together, we think it is more important than ever for our families to share their incredible testimonies with you. Family Promise of North Fulton DeKalb is a community-based organization. Our mission is to assist homeless and at-risk families with children in North Fulton and DeKalb counties. Family Promise partners with over 20 local congregations to provide food and shelter to families and their children in our community. Our team provides intensive case management, life skill classes, career coaching, financial literacy, and other essential assistance. Family Promise is unique in the way that we came together as a community to encourage and empower families. With this support, families are able to move from crisis to stability. As a national organization with over 200 affiliates, we have been able to support over 1 million families. We are proud to be a part of this movement. Since 2012, Family Promise of North Fulton and DeKalb has housed over 300 individuals within the walls of your congregations. More than 90 families and almost 200 children who are able to have a safe place to rest their heads while working towards a better future. That is all thanks to you and your continued support and commitment to this mission. This past year, Family Promise has had to look a little different than in years past, but thanks to all of you, we've been able to not only continue our critical work, but actually expand our services. While the COVID-19 pandemic has been difficult on all of us, families living paycheck to paycheck have been among the hardest hit. As we at Family Promise listened to the calls for help from those in need, this community stepped up to meet those. In 2020, Family Promise assisted almost 500 families and individuals with case management, hygiene items, grocery gift cards, counseling, food items, and more. We were able to work with our families outside the traditional program to meet their needs. Many of these services helped close the gap between paychecks, allowing parents to have enough gas to get to work, to pay for another month of rent, and to find a housing placement. The need in our community is growing, and Family Promise is growing to meet it. With your help, we will be able to continue to do this essential work in our community. Throughout this event, you will get to hear the stories of Family Promise graduates. They will share the ways this organization has been invaluable in their lives and how support from all of you has impacted their children's futures. We once again thank you for joining us for the 3rd annual Meals with Meaning event. We could not do this important work without you.
We recently had a case with a young lady that was actually living in a storage unit with a newborn and a 4-year-old. And that was just heart-wrenching for all of us. So my priority first was to get her out of that situation, get her into a hotel, make sure that they were had the supplies they need, food, diapers, those type things. And then, I kind of walk away and just kind of decompress from what I've just been through, the emotional part of that.
We are kind of like an emergency room. We're the place where you go when you don't have anywhere else to go, and you need to figure out how to get yourself healed. And we're able to be the ER to them. They come to us, we help triage them. In some cases, we can work with them quickly to get a small thing sorted out. Maybe they have a flat tire and we can help them with that fast. But oftentimes, where I think we really specialize is being the ICU for families that can't just turn it right back around, people who really have fallen on hard times.
Once a congregation decides that they are going to host our families, we provide the beds and the transportation for their beds and our families' belongings. They, in turn, transform their Sunday school classrooms into bedrooms for our families.
Family Promise membership for St. Luke's Presbyterians is an opportunity to be our best selves, to be who we know in the context of our faith we're supposed to be.
We share in our work with Family Promise with another congregation, with the Roswell Community Masjid, the Muslim community. That relationship has also flourished. We've learned a lot from each other as different congregations. So we have kind of an interfaith cooperation going, which has been very rewarding because we've taken that cooperation even outside of Family Promise.
When we work with UMAN and we go in and we spend a lot of time with the families, our biggest thing is really just listening. I don't ever want them to think that they're here because they need help. I want them to know that they come as messengers to us to help us learn, be aware, build compassion, and giving never decreases anything of yourself. And giving is an honor to them because we take away so much more, I think, than they take away from us.
As you just heard, these are the stories that are so incredibly touching and showcase the true value of what Family Promise is all about. It is these brave and inspiring people who remind us of the effect that our support and compassion have on the lives and compel us to be here, bound by our wonderful sense of community. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, how can I donate to this wonderful cause? Well, we have you covered. First of all, if you have any troubles at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to our technical support team at 678-862-3422, just as you see on your screen below. We've also made it super easy for you to give and show your support for Family Promise. You can simply click on the donation button, and from there, just select the donation amount that feels comfortable to you. If you don't see your amount listed, you can always customize your donation, and we won't hold it against you if you feel compelled to give more than once. Another way to give tonight is to simply text MWM2021 to 76278. We need your support now more than ever. A $1,000 gift will cover a month of childcare for a family. One of the biggest challenges that families run into when trying to obtain and maintain steady employment is that of childcare. 1 month of childcare for a child in the program would make a huge impact on our families' lives. And a $250 gift will cover 6 weeks of formula and diapers for families in the community. Let's continue delving into what truly makes this amazing organization special: its mission, its story, and its purpose.
working at the airport for a company called Parodies. Yeah.
He was my manager.
Oh, you had your eyes on the manager.
He was a nice manager at the job, and I was the kind of the employee that could have had that position because I kind of did like management work anyways. So
salty.
yeah, everybody kind of came to me for advice. So like I kind of became his little go-to. Like I was the one that was going to stay late and do all the hard work because nobody else was going to do it.
About maybe a month.
Yeah, it clicked kind of fast. We clicked kind of fast, yeah. Really fast. It literally happened. And you know what? We haven't spent more than 2-3 days apart since then. Like we have never really been apart from each other.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. That's why.
So 2019, she came. I was starting in the market for another job, something to pay a little bit more. I ended up applying for a delivery job with Amazon, just for the time being. And I left my old job, working at the airport, and I was going to start working with Amazon, and that never happened. For a good 2 or 3 months, I was out of work. So it kind of put me behind on my bills. And so I ended up starting working at DeKalb with this contracting company with my cousin. And so that kind of put me back on track. But in the end, it was a little bit too late. Ended up losing the apartment, having to move in with family members. And while working at DeKalb for the contracting company, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and try and apply for something a little bit long term. So I went to the police academy.
It was just a lot of things going on at the time. And once we moved in, I actually did start going back to work. So my daughter ended up going to daycare at 8 weeks. So I went back to work full time. And then the pandemic hit.
Yep.
So we were in a car in front of McDonald's for a while before his best friend had offered us a hotel for 2 weeks. So one of the women from Family Promise had emailed me back 2 or 3 days before we had to leave the hotel. And it was like, I swear it was like heaven sent because we still didn't know what we was going to do.
Everybody falls on hard times, and it was no different for this family. His wife just happened to, lose her job during COVID, and she was the sole income of their family, and he was this close to graduating from the police academy, and, we were that safety net for them. They were able to let him finish the police academy. She was able to find a job while she was in the program, and we were to help them.
We weren't told we had to be rushed out or anything. But we set a goal that, this is what we wanted. And we did it in less than 4 months. We set a goal. We took advantage of the things that we were being given. We saved. We were able to find an apartment because every day we looked.
It took a lot of sacrifice, a lot of days where you're not eating just to save some money.
Mm-hmm. And it can happen to anybody, even a police officer. Mm-hmm. It can, life doesn't pick and choose who it happens to. Life happens to everybody. And you just stay focused and stay positive, keep your head up. Sometimes you got to swallow your pride to get the best results, and it'll happen.
My mom would come over to church all the time and be helping with Family Promise, and me and my sister, we just tag along, So we were pretty much always here when she was here.
We have a very small church, but The volunteers are amazing, and they consistently volunteer.
We've got coordinators, we've got volunteers, at any one site you have over 50 volunteers waiting there, to do what they can do to help our guests as they come in. We refer to them as our guests in Family Promise. So once they come into our actual congregation, the support is even more than the actual staff.
I end up getting to a domestic violence dispute with my partner, so I had to flee from that. So I end up finding Miss Wanda number through a family and friend, and that's how I came in contact with Family Promise. And then the volunteers was very nice, very good. You meet different people, and that was a good thing, meeting different people cooking. Not used to your own cooking. So that was a good thing, getting used to that.
I like people, I love hanging out, hearing like how they're doing, how their days are going, how school is, with the other kids, like just like regular stuff that I like to talk about too.
I say blessed. Blessed. They make me get emotional, but I'm blessed. I thank God every day. Yes, I do. Say every morning, every night, I praise him, because I could have been dead. I could have been anywhere. My child without a mom. Yep, so I thank God. I thank Miss Wanda, Andrew, and them for everything. Yep, and these are for good, happy tears.
Thank you to our volunteers for sharing their message. We would like to thank all of our individual supporters, congregational partners, board members, and volunteers. We could not do what we do without each and every one of you. Thank you. Your impact is tremendous. A $500 gift will go to assisting families with car repairs. In 2020, Family Promise aided almost $4,000 in car repair costs. When families are living paycheck to paycheck, getting the car routinely checked out falls low on the list of priorities. But when problems arise, the cost is much higher. Family Promise's Freedom to Work Fund helps families with immediate car crises, but also helps families cover full car inspections, routine maintenance, oil changes, and more. A donation of $100 provides gas and grocery gift cards for a family in the community. After paying for rent and power, many families must decide how to split the little that they have left between essentials. Helping with gas costs can help keep a parent in their job, which can help stop the progression into homelessness. Family Promise cares for our families more than you can ever imagine, and we need your caring spirit now too. It goes without saying that you all are making a huge contribution collectively to the cause, and for that we are forever grateful.
Being a partner in Family Promise is a lot easier than it first seems. I think it sounds like an elaborate program, and ultimately it is, but I think what is hard to foresee without committing to it and just jumping in is how easy it is to come by the resources that you need and the volunteers that you need in order to make participation and good hospitality happen.
My work in Family Promise was just going in and being a part of this larger community that's doing great service work. Learning from the families, being aware of what really exists in this city that we're not really talking about and not really being a part of was huge for me. I mean, I've got to meet families and be part of their journeys, and you get attached. I don't know if you're supposed to, but you get attached, and you celebrate when they celebrate, you hurt when they hurt.
I think it's been really transformative, and one of my highlights, I think, of my ministry since I've been here. I mean, I've had people say it is the most rewarding ministry that they participate in as members of our congregation, which really makes me feel proud. Proud of them and how they've grown as people in the ministry that they can do, because it wasn't on their radar beforehand. So I'm really proud of them for that.
You always go into service work thinking you're going to help somebody else, and you don't realize how much it comes back to you and how much it helps you and how much it teaches you.
What I also hope they receive is an appreciation for, an understanding that they, in their giftedness and they in their intelligence and imagination and vision and sense of hope, even against obstacles. That all of those things are gifts to those who volunteer and serve too.
Thank you so much for supporting Family Promise. It's not too late, folks. You can simply click on that donation button and select a donation amount, or text 76278 and type MWM2021 from your phone to make a donation. Remember, all proceeds from our event help families and futures full of hope and possibility. When we help parents meet their basic needs and give them the opportunity to create a vision for the future, their dreams of providing a better life for their children are realized. We are so appreciative of your kindness and your generosity and your financial support. And now, it's time to close the auction. I'm going to count down to close, so please make your final bids. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for all of your tremendous support. Please welcome board chair and friend George Orland for our closing remarks.
Thank you for joining us for the 3rd annual Meals with Meaning event. As the chairman of the board of directors at Family Promise, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to all of you for your support now and throughout the year. I especially want to thank our phenomenal sponsors. Without you, we wouldn't be in a position to share these amazing and inspiring stories. And thank you to all of you who continue to donate to further our cause. Remember, you can continue to donate even as this event draws to a close. We'd like to thank Bridget Burnett and Choice Productions for helping put this virtual event together. Thank you to Captain and the Kid for another awesome year of music. And a big thank you to Tyler Jones for being our wonderful host for this event. He was fantastic. We'd also like to say thank you to our staff for their commitment to this mission, to our volunteers whose dedication is what makes Family Promise possible, and to our families for sharing their stories with us. We hope you've enjoyed this special event. Hearing from our families, volunteers, and fellow community members really sheds light on the critical mission of Family Promise. As you've heard, Family Promise is working hard to support the families in our community. While all around us the need continues to grow, we at Family Promise are growing to meet it. We're excited to expand our reach in this community as we build on the incredible strides we've made. We hope you will join us in our mission as we work towards a world where no child is without a bed and no family is without a home. On behalf of all of us here at Family Promise, thank you for your support and for your generosity.